It's April Fool's Day, but are you being foolish with your builds and your retrofits? Well, today we are talking with Aaron and Shawn, and they're going to give us some high performance principles on building better.
So I'm Shawn St Amour, and how do we spell fools? Well, of course, that's with a PH because the PH stands for passive house. And the reason that we want to talk about passive house is those high levels that will get to creating a comfortable, healthy, resilient building. And one thing that we start off with is planning, right? The five P's of it all. So proper planning prevents. Wow, did I ever screw that one up? Anyhow, integrated design planning is where I was going with this. So foolish with my words, but ideally it comes back to planning where it's a necessity to ensure that before you've actually got into the dirt, you've actually created your foundations, that you've got the plan. That means you've met with all the right consultants, all the right parts of your specialists to ensure that you're going to be able to be effective in your buildings. And of course, if you're including offsite in that you've met with that team and you've got your things coordinated to ensure that you're going to have an effective build. And that comes down to just planning, planning, planning. And can't say enough about working with your team at the very beginning, making sure you got the right scopes of work, making sure you got the right contracts in place, making sure you got the right materials availability to ensure that when you need it, that it arrives, because clients do not like it when they show up on their project and there's no trades on site. They want to see it where every day they're seeing the value of trade showing up, work getting done, work being done that's in the right order, and being able to see that the project is moving forward. And when we talk about high performance, there are some new things we need to add in there. And if the team hasn't been properly coordinated, materials haven't been brought in maybe earlier than normal, that can affect your airtightness goals and some of the other goals that you're looking for when you're looking at high performance.
That's awesome, Shawn. Just you might not be able to build a passive house. You might not be in a market where passive house is going to be popular, but it doesn't mean that you can't apply passive house principles. And one of the principles I like to employ is I like to have an ass on my team. And I know that sounds foolish, but I'm talking about an air sealing specialist. And it's great to have an air sealing plan before construction begins. So you want to know your design, you want to know how you're going to approach your air sealing details. Is your air control layer going to be outboard? Is it going to be inboard? Both are valid options. There's all kinds of great products out there that you can achieve amazing numbers, but you have to have a plan before you start building. If you don't, you're probably going to look foolish. But there's some other little things that I foolishly do on some of my builds, like strapping my ceilings out on my vented attics with 2x4. That allows me to run all of my electrical on all of my ceilings inboard, inside the envelope. When I say inboard, I mean inside the envelope. So there's no penetrations to that attic space through that secondary or primary air barrier other than the absolutely required ones. On my most recent project, we had two that had to go through, and they were the radon vent and the plumbing stack. There was only two that we couldn't work around. But if you have a plan, you're going to eliminate all of these things. And it's not just electrical and mechanical. It's just planning your construction details out so that they're sequenced correctly. You have your floppy bits in the correct order. So little things that you have to plan ahead for. And even though kind of talking about this out of sequence, one of the best things you can do for employing some passive house principles is before the project even begins, before you dig that hole, ensure that whatever you're building is situated for the correct exposure on your lot.
Just small little things that we can all do, right? To not be foolish on April Fool's Day. You guys are bringing up some amazing points, and I love that we're always talking about, as I call it, the pre-construction team, right? And having those discussions in order to make sure that opportunities are working in the way that they should. And I love that Shawn was talking about prefab because everybody knows that's my world that I love to live in. And to be able to have your engineers, being able to have your architects, everybody communicating the same way. And when we're talking about offsite, also integrating that factory and making sure that they know how everybody's going to move together. Scopes of work are critical for success. And then, like Shawn was saying, and even you, Aaron, it really is all about communication.
100%. You have to talk to each other.
Aaron, you have anything else to add to our principles for April Fool's Day?
Um, I think that it would only be appropriate for the most passive house person I know to give us a really quick rundown on this foolish day of the principles.
So when we're building, we again, 5 classic passive principles, ensuring airtightness. And this is one for the builders because that's where builders can really excel on. The other 4 are really about the designer so that the building has the right glazing, so high performance glass, windows and doors. We got to ensure that we've got our fresh air machine. So your climate, Aaron, is probably having an ERV, or my climate's having an HRV. But again, that's that fresh air machine. Then in our buildings, we've got lots of insulation, and typically we're going to have some outsulation to ensure where we're stopping the 5th one, which is thermal bridging. So there you go. The 5 classic house principles. And so let's get out there, be foolish, but have fun and ensure we're building to a high performance standard.
And that's the dirt on Offsite Dirt. Thank you for being here.